In this video, I'm going to be unboxing a new replacement headliner board that is available on the market now. Basically, it's just going to replace the VN to VRVS Sedan models because the boards get quite brittle and broken on these models. It's very hard to find a good replacement in the wreckers. They're made out of like a cardboard. That's why these boards can suffer a lot of breakages. The ones on the outside are not too concerning because you can repair those. You can just basically repair them during the recovery stage. But where they become more problematic is basically the back section. They can bow and warp out of place, and then it will compromise the end result. So these boards are very, say, universal. If you've got all these holes where the grab handles, sun visors, the large center Calais light will go, and then also you've got the rear grab handles and courtesy lights. So for these boards, if you had a template made up to suit all those, all you do is you just don't cut out the parts that you need. And we were originally going to get this board copied from a fiberglasser in our local area. So we had this donor board dropped off at the local fiberglasser for about a year, but we didn't get any progress done. I think the guy was just overly too busy, and during that time, these new boards became available on the market. So we just retrieved that donor board back, and we went ahead and bought this replacement headliner board because we were basically only doing the fiberglass copies to help the market, because we were getting asked questions pretty much weekly about, have we got a replacement headliner board to suit the Commodore VN VRVS in the Sedan range? And so we're just trying to cater to the market there. But a fiberglass copy would have been quite expensive. Some of the fiberglasses blokes were basically charging or quoting up about 3 to 5k to do a copy, and a majority of them just weren't getting back to you. They weren't interested in doing it. We did find a bloke where ours would have been probably sitting about $1,000, but that's unrecovered, like as in not recovered with brand new material, where this replacement board actually does come recovered in material that suits pretty much those Commodore early models. So that's ideal. You're buying the replacement board and it's already been recovered, so all you would have to do is do the installation. I'll have links to these boards in my description as an affiliate link to the suppliers that we know are selling these headliner boards. We're going to probably aim to keep about 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 2 in stock at all times, just to supply to customers, out of our own stock. That way, in case we needed to do a supply of a brand new board, we had that available. But otherwise, there will be a little affiliate link there to the eBay seller that sells these rooflining boards currently. And you just go careful with cutting the tape and this wrapper away from the board. You don't want to be accidentally cutting into the board. Now, the supplier would probably, most likely, as they progress with selling these boards, slightly change the way they package and send these boards, so it might always not look the same as what we're doing right now. So we can open this bugger up and see what we're going to be experiencing. Oh, those 2 extra packages is just some product that we bought from the supplier just to test out some of their fabrics. But yeah, they've got it all wrapped. It looks quite neat and tidy, and I believe there's templates as well to make those on the back of this board to make, say, if that center interior light needs to be larger to suit a Calais model. So we'll have a look at that soon. So far all good. It's all packaged well. You got the plastic that's going to protect the fabric here, and that looks all good. Very, very well presented. And then you can see here with the corner, it's either pulled too tight during packaging or maybe just during handling of this package from the delivery freight company. They've just stacked it somewhere, but that's not too concerning. I can show you guys how to fix that issue if there's any creases in the material, so not too concerning, to be honest. But yeah, we're just going to remove this plastic now and see how close we come with the fabric color to what we would usually suggest for these basically Holden Commodore models, because we would normally suggest 2 two of our velour fabrics, which is light grey velour, which is more suggested if you've got like a cream plastic sun visor or like a light tan. Otherwise, most of these cars came out with a blue steel or a blue slate, which are all obsolete. You can't really buy those fabrics anymore. I haven't seen them available. So we use our dark grey charcoal velour, which comes very close to matching up to the original fabric. And yeah, so we'll just get this one out of its wrapper and we'll have a look what it looks like. So we're ready to pull off this plastic to see how this board actually looks. You can see it actually looks very clean and tidy. That recovery looks like almost like it was done through a machine, not so much by hand, which is a really good tight finish. The fabric quality really feels good too. Yeah, you can see the fabric has got that like nice texture to it that's going to match up to the original, basically the era of these cars. Yeah, you can. It almost feels like you would see in like a Holden Statesman of that era on the door trims and the roof lining. So that's good. It's a good finish. And we'll have a look at it in a different lighting just to make sure that it doesn't capture any shadows. But yeah, you can see the template on where the rear view mirror would go. Now, I'm going to see if we can maybe rub that off, because yeah, that's kind of, the template's kind of showing through. So if you've got the rear view mirror that goes on the windshield, you might see a slight little marking there, but it's okay. This section here, that crease line, that will come out over time. Otherwise, you can instantly get like that to come out straight away with just a handheld steamer, which I'll show you. So yeah, no stress. No, and when you also tuck it into the A-pillar, it's going to stretch it back out to shape. A couple of little white lines. So that might be just random, not too concerning to be honest. And yeah, really tight finish where it goes into the actual contour of this this board. Looks great. So the way these boards have been basically presented as it is at the moment would suit just a standard car. You've got the single dome light in the middle. You've got the grab handles on the front passenger side and the rear driver's side and rear passenger side. You can see here there's a template there to cut out the larger Calais light. There's a template there to cut out if you've got the rear view mirror on your board. So that's good. So you just cut out there if you've got the larger light, and then that way it will suit a Calais model. So, but I have noticed that there's no rear cutouts or markings for the courtesy lights that go on the rear grab handles. So what I'll do, I'll reach out to the supplier and just let them know that if they can do some sort of marking there for you guys, because we have got templates in our workshop that we can just basically mark those out, the rear courtesy lights. That's no big issue. Otherwise, if you have got your original board that has got the courtesy lights, just plonk it on top and mark it out as a template. The fabric's being overlapped at the front, which is great. And you can see it's got the stitching on the back of the foam, which normally means it's pretty good material as well. Well, it's easier to work with. And yeah, the cuts look really nice. So that's ideal. And the board actually looks like it's pretty sturdy and strong, and it has the perfect shape. Maybe we'll just line it up with the original board and see how close it comes to the original shape, which I'm assuming it's going to be pretty much perfect. We'll see how we go. I think it's great that we've got these basically replacement OEM boards now, because it saves me getting the fiberglass copies made up, and it would have been pretty expensive. Plus, you probably have to do disclaimers using fiberglass maybe inside your car for like roadworthy certificates and stuff, because yeah, if you have an accident or whatever, there might be shards of fiberglass, so it's not ideal. So these boards are way better than getting a fiberglass copy made up. But so yeah, everything actually lines up really well. You can see these, because it's always going to be slightly different because you're putting in a shape on top of this other shape, and it's going to be slightly off center. But you can see that if you were to line up things, it's going to actually match up very well. And grab handles match up well. The length and the width is perfect. So that's really good. And what you do is when you install these, well, we're going to do a video where we're going to explain the installation and have a look at the results. So that's scheduled to happen in about a couple of weeks' time. You can see down this side here, I reckon there's a slight bow just there. You can see where they've trimmed the board and they've added a bit more, a bit more length just there. So I reckon that can just be trimmed off anyway, but you'll do it when you go to install these boards, and if it doesn't fit properly underneath your seals, because there might be room to move anyway, but if it doesn't fit properly, you can see that you could raise the blade that a bit thinner and take off a bit of length there. So no, not too much of a concern, but you can see a slight difference there. Plus this board doesn't actually come with the rear Velcro tabs that hold it in the middle back section like the factory one does. So that would be interesting to see when we go to reinstall this board, to see how it actually sits up in the car. So I reckon this is going to be perfect for the as a replacement for these actual models, but because the headliner boards are just getting old and they're falling apart, so you're going to need a replacement at some point. And it's great that they're actually on the market now, so not sure exactly where they've come from, but yeah, we're happy to buy from the supplier. They're probably buying it in bulk from overseas somewhere maybe. These are the headliner fabrics that we stock, and the top three are basically velour products, which is that softer type of finish that suits this era. The last six is a flat knit finish, which is more modern. We do usually use a dark grey charcoal velour or the light grey velour for our products on these cars anyway. That's what we would suggest. So up against this one that's been delivered, you can see that's more of like a medium grey finish. So it's going to be probably ideal for every single model out there. I do know that some of these VNs to your VRVS models, I think I came across once where they had maybe almost like a mulberry finish or something like that, which was pretty rare. But yeah, it's normally the dark grey charcoal if I would suggest for the blue steel type of finish, and then the light grey velour for like anything that had like a cream sun visor. But that's if we were selling the fabric for you guys to recover the job. But these ones already come recovered, and they come recovered in that almost like a medium grey, I'll just call it. Underneath the back section, so we haven't got no markings or templates where the cross member goes, where the Velcro tabs, but you might not need it because the board actually holds its shape. So that's something that you might not even need anyway, but if you wanted to, you could probably put some Velcro strips on the actual cross member on the inside of the car, and then that way when you push up the board and line it up, it's actually going to grip in the back section. So we will explain that and go through that when we do the installation video. So we've got an installation booked in for a car in about a week's time, and yeah, we'll pump out that video as well and see how that goes. So we should bring it to the bench now, and we'll get rid of that little crease line in that A-pillar section. For instant results to get these little crease lines out, we just use a steamer, little handheld steamer. This is the Philips Steam and Go, and yeah, just test it on like settings, different fabrics first, like just an off cut or somewhere where you're not going to see it, depending on what fabric you're using. But yeah, this stuff we already tested it, and it's going to work perfectly. As long as you keep the device moving, it should be all fine. But yeah, you get instant results with that. That's brought it out, and you can see under different lighting that it's brought out some shadows on the board. So this is on the bench with you can see some little dimples and a little crease line in the back of where it's kind of reflecting a bit of a shadow on the fabric. But that's not too concerning. I reckon that's just from packaging and the freight time where it's been wrapped up. So we just leave it on the bench until we're ready to install this one with a customer's car, and it should be all sweet and fine. But yeah, make sure you do watch the installation, because we will make sure that we'll do our best to make this look very, 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 very good with the finished end result and make it look factory. So we'll show you some maybe tips and tricks that we might use for the installation. So the rear view mirror section up here, you can see that there's a dent there. So if you've got the rear view mirror that goes on the windshield, you're going to have this marking here. So it doesn't seem to be wanting to actually dissolve. So yeah, that might just be something you have to put up with. But majority of the time when you do install these roof lining boards into the car, you do see less imperfections than you do on the actual table, because the table you can see everything under the lighting. but once it's inside the car, you've got a lot more shadows to deal with. So a lot of imperfections and stuff hide on roof lining boards once you actually get it inside the car. So the steamer works perfect just to make all these little imperfections come out, but you don't need to have the steamer on hand. I reckon if you just leave the board on the table before you install it, just to settle for a bit, even if you reinstalled it, the plastics are just going to hold it into shape anyway, and straighten the board out. And then over time, as the car warms up, the fabric will just slightly expand, just give off a cleaner finish. So not too concerning. It's perfect replacement, I reckon, for these this car. So make sure you do watch the installation video. So we'll show you all the tricks and hints that we use to overcome any obstacles that we might run into when we go to do the reinstall. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to help support this channel, just click the subscribe button and thumbs up on the video. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Catch ya.